And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So, map 1 over with. And you know what, Yanko? I'm going to start on you because you highlighted this yesterday. Both CT sides won the pistols and held the second round. And actually, to be fair, they didn't only hold, they went aggressive on that second round.
Yeah, I think it was obvious that Astralis is trying to switch things up on their CT side. You could see them do that aggressive push a couple of times. I think they did it maybe even
like
3
4
times.
or 5 times, yeah.
And they always did it in like crucial rounds, you know, just after G2 won a round, their response was let's just push towards mid. They had a couple of cool app setups as well, going double teaming that, sending device banana along with the op. So some really cool stuff from them.
I wonder if in their minds, plan might have backfired a little bit after on the first pistol for Astralis when they went for the mid rush. They were like, "Oh no, they have Tech 9,
yeah, because it almost went wrong. Yeah,
like get out!" And then device gets pinned down, and it all kind of falls apart from there. I mean, they barely recover in that. But I do admire the fact that they were brave enough to not just fall back into the tried and true, playing ultra passive, playing scared. They just kept doing it. Right. That's something that. That not a lot of teams are actually capable of. Once, if it gets a little hairy, if it gets a little tricky, the pressure starts to mount. To still be able to go for the brave plays, like that. That's actually something that's necessary if you're going to be winning these kinds of matches. So good to see that change up from Astralis.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of wonky rounds where they almost over-smoked and people were running through and they didn't know who the hell they were shooting.
I'm not a big fan of how they're using their nades. I think that was one thing that we kind of took away from this when we were watching the match. The nade usage is very
some miss flashes.
Miss flashes, weird Molotov timings, weird smokes. Like there's some polish that's needed here on the CT side.
For me, it was again, we have a crucial round where the G2 managed to win a couple of rounds, and then Astralis has a weak buy, and they go towards B. They let Smits go first with the AWP. He gets the kill, or I think it was Kerrigan, I'm not sure. The guy towards the site. Xipnix gets a kill from CT. But at that point, they should know that Xipnix is, of course, the other guy. They have site clear. Why not just go through the smoke, trade with Xipnix, who is reloading his CZ and get control of the site? They fall back. Round gets, really messy. They lose it. Then they're forced to go on a, weak buy, then on an eco. And they could have gotten a lot more rounds than 4 in the first half.
Yeah, there was the big round as well from Device at the end of the first half when he was holding new box with the AWP. And he just basically delayed. Kerrigan came around, Banana, they all backed him up and turned it 11-4. So great first half, and that's really where the damage was done, I guess, for them, the CT side.
Yeah, they did manage to win second pistol in the second half, but, they had a couple of sloppy plays on the B side from Existence and Scream. Even if you think that they're in a good setup, something just goes wrong. Existence, where he should have maybe gotten 2 kills or even 3, he only manages to get 1. Yeah. Scream also dies because he's baiting for him. So
okay, quick thoughts. I want to move on because we're being hurried up here. Right. Quick talk on Cash. That's going to obviously next map. What are we thinking?
I want to keep my eye on Existence and I want to keep my eye on Cajun because both of them seem to be having an off night. In my opinion, right now, Cajun B, a lot of weird, wonky sort of situations where he's kind of caught asleep, missing nades, missing timings. Just weird plays from him. So just keep an eye on him. I think we'll see if he can turn that around here on Cash. It's a map that he's comfortable on, so I expect nothing less from him. He should be able to get in here and get his head in the game. And Existence also looking a little wonky. And again, I wonder if that comes back to my previous point of the Shocks and him still trying to find a middle ground where they're comfortable and they're playing comfortably together. Because Existence, he's so used to being that leader. If all of a sudden he's having to share some of that with Shoxy, where's he going to find himself in that? So those are the 2 guys for me to watch on Cash at least.
Yanko, you're going to get about 5 words.
Astralis, CT side, interesting.
Okay, straight to the point. Okay, let's go over to the casters, guys. Knife round's underway. It's going to be Pandas once again.
Thank you, guys. And Yanko, beautiful summary there. Really nice. But to expand on it, this is something you were actually saying about Cash and these guys as well. So, I like the way it's given us time to talk. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I wonder.
Yanko, right?
I wonder. I think I don't just off the
Don't
top of my
worry,
head.
do you want to come over and just have a little time? So no, do carry on.
Trying to steal the light here. I can tell. All right. I think off the top of my head, I would guess that that Astralis or the former TSM lineup, or even maybe even going further back than that, is one of the teams that has the most games I've ever seen on Cash where they win 10 rounds on T side, and you think, well, this is it then. You win 10 rounds,
set, right?
That's it. And they still go on to lose the map on CT side. I have no idea how that works. So I definitely don't trust them playing this map, even though there's no reason why they should not be great at it. I feel like it's still one of those slightly weird maps for them, but I am excited, and I hope that G2 are able to put together more consecutive rounds than they were on Inferno, because then we'd have a really interesting game on our hands here. And I certainly think that the Smiths AWPing on this map could be an interesting factor as well, so we'll see.
Yeah, him and Shox had the biggest impact there when they played during the game show not too long ago. Up against Astralis, those two are the ones that are really operating on an extraordinary level. And then on the other side, of course, Device and Xyp9x. Xyp9x being one of the players that actually Semler went to keep his eye on, as well as Cajun as well. So a lot to be noted in this one, you know, player performance-wise, team performance-wise. And we won't get to watch the questionable nor interesting side of Astralis on the CT side just yet. They're starting on the T side. G2 get to start on the CT side of things, and Device going straight in. No, he's dropping that one out to... Who's going to get the Tech 9?
That does not make... Oh, there we
go. I was like, why did he have it? He hasn't got armor. But there we go. Xyp9x does have the armor. He's going to be running that one. And on the other side, Utility just with Existence. Everyone else with the armor.
Yeah, makes perfect sense here. I was wondering if they're going to try and play for retake on A, which so many people do in pistol rounds, but they are instead going to go for a good mid-hold and then just having one person back here, which is Smiths, and he in turn has to get a kill, and he has to buy time for his team. So this is all about the USP1 clicks, trying to get it there, a little bit of a flash, screwing it up for him, and he goes down that Sip with that Tech 9 armor, and I'm glad they gave it to Xyp9x, sort of almost a recognition of how well he's been playing lately. So I might as well just keep building on top of that. Device going to be taking down Shock Scream with a headshot in return, but it might not be enough here. The bomb is down, and they're going to have to try and see if they can get back in here and retake it. Scream hoping to get that shot through, but Cajun just not getting hit.
He's coming up mid as well. He's just on highway right now. He's going to come around the back of it and look at it. They're just two of them placing those bullets perfectly to the brain of the G2 players, and it's just Existence left alive. Bomb's plied for Main. He has nothing to work with. Oh, he's got a flash, but he knows that there's not much to be coming from this one. Carrigan's pressuring Dupree's there. Everyone's getting in on the action, and G2 kind of just having to just sit here and watch as this goes down, as he will be left alive, I think, at this point. Unless they catch him. They're not going to. So there we go. 4 alive for us. Astralis, which is actually pretty darn good. A bomb plant as well. They've done brilliantly off the back of that. Barely losing players. Straight out, took the fight. Nice little pop flash through from Main. And we got all rifles coming through actually for Astralis.
Right. So yeah, that's a bit strange. I would have preferred if Carrigan used got that Galil. Why not buy a Mac 10 and use him as a scout? But they are afraid of running into armor and pistol, which is what they are doing currently. So we'll see if it's going to pay off or not. There's 2 flashbangs in play on the G2 side. I'm wondering if they could... Well, RPK's here, so he could maybe flash himself in. And actually, that's going to be beautiful, isn't it? Carrigan in a lot of trouble, and he ends up going down. Very simple flash, and I don't think he should have had that much out of it, but Carrigan just being caught.
I think Carrigan had a pop flash of his own going through, and he kind of turned at actually a good time, but then didn't expect anyone else to be there. But Xyp9x has found Smiths again, who's fallen down this site every single time thus far, so already Device is straight out there. Last time Bomb did go in towards Main. Not sure if he's going to go for the same plan this time, just maybe play it safe, because those deagles can be deadly. A scream does show us as to why, as Dupree's head just is left rolling to the floor. Now, 4v3, there's a chance in this, actually, but no utility, but still, there's a lot of chance.
Especially because the bomb is down in the very bad spot right now. Xyp9x and Main could do nothing if these 2 guys in the bomb side actually die. Device going to be picking up 1 shot there in a second as well, and Cajun the takedown Scream, so now it's looking much more comfortable. Device with a good triple kill, but it's always scary when you put the bomb down default, which is why so many teams have stopped doing it.
Oh, we have a scoreboard! Yay! Ooh. How exciting. But, no, you are quite right that last time, during the first round, they got the bomb plant, applied it for Main. There's always that safety there, even if someone, did get close, there was that player sitting around in Main. So straight back onto the rifles as well. These guys, there's no SMGs here. These guys just want to get it done. Now, we've seen their strength on the T side. That was never an issue, but still. Let's see if maybe that P250 with Scream can do anything. I doubt it at this point. And Astralis do have the mollies to clear out the corners. They're pretty well set in this one. Just wait and see if there's anything to be coming from this.
Again, I almost want to sort of interview the G2 team sort of in real time here and just ask what do they hope to accomplish by spreading themselves out like this? I would so much rather have them have a stack somewhere. And one guy with a flashbang, I still don't think, or 3 men pushing Main or something, almost anything. It seems like this is the recipe for, at best, trading 2 kills in a bomb site and still losing the round.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of it.
I think you're right. It's always the fact that you might as well try something. because these rounds played like this, I'd love to see the percentage that anyone's ever won these rounds where you're not sat stacking a site or something and such. But at the moment, it's just lovely farming for Device. He's having a great time. He started up well in the last round. This should be another very, very comfy stuff, and barely taking a piece of damage. He's down to 83. And, well, they're going to hit B, and to be fair, Shox and RPK aren't too far off, but RPK has been smoked out, and, well, it's going to be a bomb plant, and more than likely 5 players alive in this round.
Oh, good job from Shox there, but Device, he's going to go down, Shox, being a real force in the middle, taking at least 1 AK away, and maybe more. Sip is actually going to elect to run the other way. I was wondering if he's going to try and sort of run out when the bomb goes up. Instead, they're going to boost Carrigan up here to take the place instead. And Shox will go down. Just that aim punch being a bit too much. RPK being revealed in middle as well, and he can't finish off the job. So it will be a good round for Astralis. It's going to be 3-0, and now G2. They do not have enough money for an AWP, and I feel like that's a mistake, or at least a bit of a slip-up on their part.
And to be fair, Smith has been having a really quiet game so far as well. If we just hit the tab scoreboard, you can see that he's just not having the best of times. All right, Rush, just ignore me. This guy, hate him. Where's Yanko? Can we bring Yanko back, please? How dare he find himself a better place where he's actually, doing really well. God. But anyway, this is an important round, and as I said, Smith's not going to have the chance to have that open. He was such an instrumental factor in that previous game when they did go to overtime up against Astralis, but
it's actually interesting, just a bit of an aside, it's actually interesting how big of an impact it has to have like good or bad spectating, and obviously Rush has been doing it for a long time, but we just like ripping on Rush for no reason.
It's actually a sport, and we don't know why, but it's such an easy target. Like, if you'd like to give him abuse, go on Twitter @Rushly123456, because apparently that's a good idea for a name, but still, do it. It's great fun. But as said, this is a very slow round so far. Still got a minute left, and Astralis really taking their time on this one.
Yeah, they are. There's no grenades left in G2. They have flashbangs, and that's it. So if it comes to a retake, they can't Molotov out any corners or existence. This is going to be a bit rough here. At least they'll make it out, but right into the waiting arms of Cajun. And that's not a good start for them either. RPK with a good refrag goes for a little bit more. Dupree out of the open. He's caught here. This is not a good position for him to be in, but he's going to get the refrag on RPK anyway. Now I'm wondering if... I actually thought that there was some backup there, but it's going to turn out Scream was further away than I imagined.
They're actually going for this one now on A, and the timing on this. I think it was just Shox who walked away from the A side just as the bomb did start to make his way through, and Carrigan almost doing some serious work with that, but Smiths was there waiting. And finally gets himself into this game as well. So he maybe can start eyeing up the possibility of getting an AWP into practice now.
And a great way to get into the game, getting a triple kill in the round. I mean, it's not at all bad. And we'll see if it's going to be Astralis. Sort of, this is, again, one of those things. G2 was struggling on Inferno to connect rounds. If they connect this round, then they force the eco on Astralis, and suddenly they've got a little bit of breathing room. If they don't, then we're going to get into that really ugly pattern again. So we'll see. The Danes are being fairly quick in main. And Scream, I think you could hear them if they were running in there, but if they hit main right now and the A-bomb site, then they'd be slightly out of position here. Yeah. It'd be a bit weird.
Shox and Smiths, look. They're the ones waiting for this, so they expect the play to come through, and maybe the pop flash is going to follow exactly almost like the pistol round, but the molly's going to go down, deny the path through towards Forklift, and now at least Astralis are out on the side, but they have to take the long way around, but it doesn't matter when Carrigan's doing that sort of play. Smiths goes down, we're left in a 3v3.
Smoke goes off towards Truck as well. Existence trying to make it in, but he doesn't even check behind him because it's such an unlikely position for someone to be in. Carrigan making great work of it now, running down highway again. 2-on-3 right now. The bomb still has a lot of time left on it, but Screaming RPK, they're going to be hard-pressed to actually do this retake. Spraying through and very nearly getting the kill. They know where Carrigan is, but they're spending so much time looking for him. Device going to pick up a shot, and now all on Scream to clutch it, and he does not have a lot of time this time. Goes for the headshot, going to get it, and now he can actually maybe just hold it in. He's going to be tapping Cajun. Can he make it out? He's walking right in and getting the kill at 5 health. What a shame there. That looked like it was a perfect opportunity.
Almost. 4-1 though, G2. Not quite having the favourable beginning that we'd maybe hoped to see if we wanted that real close game that we saw go down at the game show just a couple of days ago at this point. But yeah, real shame. What is that?
I don't know. I bought some throat tablets and they look like dog biscuits for some reason. I'm not gonna eat those.
Okay, we'll make Rush try one and see what happens.
Yeah, we'll test it on Rush. That's a good idea.
But Astralis is gonna go for the default A at this point. There are, there's a CZ here, but generally it's been Shox and Smith playing out on this side. But Molly's clearing out all the corners, pushing them right into the easy lineups for those rifles. But Shox gonna make a little bit of bank off this one and doesn't have the chance to adjust for the follow-up. But Screams worked his way in through by Forklift. It's down to a 3v3. No recoverable rifles, but those CZs can do serious work. And what has just happened? RPK and Existence have just found kills out of nowhere, and Existence gets the tag, and there we go. RPK gets the frag. Carrigan goes down, and surely it's going to be a comfy defuse. I'm amazed that turned around, but how many times do we see Pistols doing this again and again?
What's so weird is that Astralis actually commit all the grenades to checking out every corner with a Molotov, so they know there are not that many positions left, and I think what really sort of fails is that once they do all of that, they slow down. Okay, the first guy to go down against Shox is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But then why don't the rest sort of just swarm the bomb site? Like, they must know that they're in a good position at that point in time. So slowing it down, a little bit timid, and that ends up backfiring against them. But they're going to force up anyway here. See if they can make it work.
Yeah, the Tech 9 Steagle coming out for Dupree. Device taking... I don't know what he got the damage done on first. Maybe just getting caught out by a nade rolling through. But Shox catching out Carrigan. That's one of the rifles down.
Cajun picking up a very important kill, but he doesn't check the vents behind him, which is a bit weird because they were close enough in middle to hear the vent get shot out, so probably someone should have at least mentioned that it could be a boost in vents.
Just the small things missing, the fundamentals, it's what Yanko was saying on the desk with Samuel. Sometimes these small fundamentals just seem to fall to the wayside for Astralis on occasion, just small pieces of communication not coming through. So at the moment, they're down to these 3 players. They do have the 2 rifles at least back into play. Now, Dupree's putting out 1 by connector. I think that might be Scream there as the molly does come in. Going to slow down the path and give maybe a bit of a peek here to Scream. He might actually get the angle towards mid if he fancies taking that risk. But while all this happens, the T side are eyeing up that A side. The bomb all the way back in the hands of Device there.
Why is Dupree so slow with this? Because he actually has a smoke. He could smoke off here, and once he's on highway, he'll be helping his team to get out of main anyway. Goes for the fight right there, and actually misses the opportunity. Shox comes in, Dupree not hitting the shots, and now obviously the main push is going to be gone as well. Everything sort of hinged on Dupree opening up. So, bit of a shame that he couldn't get those shots. But it was already a good round for G2, it seemed like. Device just looking to see if he could do some damage here the last 20 seconds with a deagle in hand. It looks like it's going to be possible on screen, but Shox should be able to follow it up here. Again, they're being just very slow. They must have been able to guess that he was obviously reloading that deagle. Triple kill for Shox though, making it 4-3. And Astralis not able to buy.
No, Astralis now going to be suffering for a little bit of themselves. Not going to be getting the money they want. And so far, Cajun B and Zipnix doing okay. Zipnix having a pretty quiet game though. Not really had the opportunity to come into this one just yet. It's still pretty early on, going into round 8 of course, and they are just down to the pistols this time. Device the only one with a P250. No flashes, no smokes, no nothing here for the T side as well. So they're just going in, doing what they can, I guess. And I do seem, to think why you won't just invest maybe 1 flash as already the P250's gone and Scream finds Device.
Yeah, I definitely would have to. Such a simple investment, but they are kind of getting wrecked pretty hard in this round. So I'm wondering what they're going to try and do for us next time around. They've already shown that they are favoring right now executing the B-bomb, the A-bomb site, right? So if they keep doing that, that might also become a bit predictable. Maybe it's time to at least consider what could be going on at B. Especially because we've seen no AWPs come out, and if there was an AWP continuously playing checkered, that could be one reason why you'd want to try and stray away from it, because it can be so hard to get that guy killed. But if they know that's not the case, then why not try and go for it? Especially because they also seem to be getting mid-control, so they could use vents as well. I don't know. Yeah, B-bomb side I think would be a good call right about now.
Yeah, to be fair, Astralis has been doing, the 2 smokes towards mid occasionally, getting themselves through. Existence has been causing some issues through those vents sometimes, but still, it's been an option, but they've never really worked off the back of it, apart from maybe Dupree playing through it a little later on. But Scream, at the moment, keeping his eyes tentatively towards any boost coming through, but no one's really up there at the moment. There is a play just off the back of it, but still, at the moment, Bomb is very much not committed anywhere. It's a slow play coming out from Astralis again. Maybe looking to clear out B this time, maybe looking to apply some pressure as RPK going to be forced back a touch.
Cajun walking up behind that. He heard the flashbang, so he must realize that someone's going to be here. He sees the opportunity. He's very low on health. RPK on the other side. Existence going to go down. It's Carrigan. Device finally dies, but this is the great opening for Astralis. They're playing with a man up. The bomb is making its way in, but they've got to be careful that Shox doesn't ruin the party, and indeed he won't. Cajun going to come up with a double kill now. Smiths, well, not sure there's much of a reason to try for a 1v3 retake here. They, again, Kinguin or G2, they don't have a lot of money here.
No, certainly not. And Smiths is going for this. Okay, he is going for it. There we go. So, takes down Cajun B. Bomb is down and ticking while this happens, but these two are pretty split up here, and he's actually going to check for Zipnix. Gets the tag, but nothing more, and Zipnix does manage to stay alive. So G2 going to be going back into this. They're pretty okay for money at the moment. Not super flush, but well enough set, but still a little bit of a risky one to go for. But 4-5 as a scoreline. I'm a little sad for G2. I'm kind of hoping that they'd come out with a little more than this, but then again, Astralis haven't been having like the smoothest of times either.
But what I'm wondering is, if he saves that M4, he drops to someone else and buys an AWP for himself, because he would have had money for it. So
yeah.
I still prefer if they had just one AWP in play on this team. RPK is still playing fairly aggressively over on this side of the map here, and I don't mind him doing that, but I'm wondering what Existence' role is right now then. I mean, if RPK is going to be pushed up this far, then Existence isn't, he's not helping him out. He's not also not going to pop flash him in because he doesn't have a flashbang. Shox is going to get the first kill there on Sip, so that's a very good start. Now Existence starting to get into a better position to actually help out.
Could do something with this one. RPK caught up, and Cajun B almost got caught then, but it looks like they are setting up for this B players. They do have one player just by those vents, but they might back away from this. Will they commit? There's still a player on highway swinging out that. I think it's Shox at the moment, just behind that sugar cube, as we do have one boosted up too. So Astralis have options here, but RPK is removing them one by one. Cajun B goes down now. So RPK and Shox doing good early work at this point, but down to 50 seconds here. Astralis need to make their minds up, and Shox just drops that hammer and just says no. Carrigan gets taken down. Dupree's now left all alone, and it just seemed to fizzle out then.
A really good round from G2, only losing one player and equalizing the score at 5-5. And again, the money for Astralis is just not there. I mean, this is the pattern that G2 is running into. Look at how these rounds are sort of, apart from the pistol, just remove that, they just have individual rifle rounds they win in between a bunch of G2 rounds. So that's perfect right now for the French side of things. Yeah. And even Shox predicting that it was going to be an eco here, buying that MP9.
Yeah. Good stuff from him. We saw Astralis not really favouring any of that as well. You know, occasionally staying away from going in towards those SMGs and occasionally sticking on them, you know, occasionally long as well. But there we go. Device is going to be trying to get something going towards mid. Well, nice little pixel shot towards Scream. If Scream does want to take the risk on that, probably not. And while this happens, have a little look towards A. Shox has gone walkabouts. He's just had a little bit of freedom as Rush decides he doesn't want to watch it. Please tweet him with that sort of feedback. As Shox, yeah, he's got the bomb, he's got the angle, and sadly for Astralis, he's pretty well set here.
Yeah, and this is so low risk from Shox. That's why it's really good. It'll be annoying to Astralis, especially now that they've got Dupree sort of snuck in here to the middle. That means if they had the bomb under control, they could potentially be setting up some interesting plays here that could lead to a round win. Dupree going to be walking in, should be a kill on Smith, but missing a lot of shots and ends up going down. Dupree probably just wondering what went wrong.
I think he just like stepped forward like 1 second too far, and now Scream's come around, and it's not just Shox with the SMG, it's Scream with the rifle, and that's 2 kills very quickly falling through. Device though will catch Smiths, but Scream's there to keep it in bay, and nice little boost up towards mid just to ensure that no one got too far away from him. So again,
I mean, if Smiths goes down in that position, then the other 2 people in main are somehow now sandwiched in. Even if they have the bomb, it's going to be sort of a slightly weird position. So I don't know. That could have been at least fun. Now, let's go for something interesting. Again, I don't know how we're seeing 12 rounds on this map without any AWPs, right? Because it's not like Astralis couldn't buy it on Device. They did that yesterday on Mirage and on Overpass. They'd use Device on the terrorist side to wedge themselves in, look for opening frags. They could do the exact same thing here. But because they go for this kind of buy, they obviously are not going to be able to. They are being very quick, though, and I think Smiths is in a very bad position. RPK going to go down, and Smiths, it's hard to survive if they come through vents and behind him.
They've got to check this. They have to check this, and they will. There we go. Zipnix comes bounding through, and Smiths does fall. Smoke's already into place, and this should be a nice, comfy play coming on the cross. Screams out of bullets, backs away, and now the bomb should be going down. But there's still 3 players here. But then again, with 2 recovered rifles, One in the hand of Dupree still. This could be a very tough round, especially with Shocks with that SMG, but look at Screams going straight in, barreling forward, and a stunning pickup. 2 kills back-to-back, and suddenly Astralis are on the back foot.
I have no idea what they're doing right now on the Danish side. Device is going to be alone in a 1 versus 3 here. Coming out of check it, picking up an easy kill on 1. The bomb is being defused. There is a kit in there as well somewhere. They're just going to wait for it, and they'll have plenty of time for the defuse. So what a fantastic retake. 3 versus 5 they're coming in from G2. And I would also say a big failure for Astralis. That should have been their round. Easy.
100%. The bomb was nicely planted. They had everyone in place, but then it just, you know, as soon as Scream just walked in, it was like, well, let's forget those crossfires. Let's ignore the whole aspect that someone could walk up here, and there you have it. Finally, Device has the AWP.
13th round here. I mean, 5 rounds is not so bad on the T side. It's just that I don't particularly trust Astralis to play the CT side. So
yeah.
If they get anything, I mean, obviously that ship has sailed, but if they get anything on the 9 rounds, I always wonder, like, is it gonna, or even on the 10, I always wonder, is it really gonna work, or are they gonna find a way to throw it away?
First time Device is the AWP. If he peeks a little too far, gets just a bit too far ahead, there's gonna be trouble. There's 3 players in mid. He's been denied out of that spot already.
It's impressive that Molotov actually went up in the air. But the grenade got him down to 50. RPK setting up for a flashbang of his own, while Device trying to see if he can make it work. RPK taking a very dangerous fight here, and you can tell he's trying to stay alive and fall back. And actually just living in checkered there, and they can't stop him. They don't have any Molotovs or any HE, so he can stay in there all day. That is very annoying if you're on the terrorist side.
Their options are so limited. Look at this. Again, Device can't peek it. Again, Scream can just wait it out, keep them back at main. We might see the smoke suddenly coming through, but actually the flash catches them as well, so they can't even go for the peek off the back of that, try and work their way out of this one. And they're down to, what, 35 seconds here. They need to start considering what their moves are, and Existence has just ruined one of those options. Cajun B gets found at B, so now A becomes the best viable spot for it. Flash comes out, but there's the counter. Straight away, Carrigan is in, and he has been on point doing this, but there's Device finding Smiths, and suddenly A is looking like a possibility.
Yeah, they went for the default plant as well. Scream are going to be trading evenly here, and it's still a 3-on-3. But G2 are very close to the bomb site. They've got so much time to work with, including defuse kits on every single member. Shock's going to be walking through that fading smoke, looking for the shot, and Carrigan goes down. Sip going to fall. Dupree in the back lines now in a 1-on-3. He hits a headshot on 1, but still another 2 to come. And they know exactly where he is, and they still have time for it. And Dupree falls. Existence to pick up the double kill and make it 8-5 here. G2 starting to show some real promise, I think.
This is looking good, and they've recovered the AWP as well, so that can be placed into hands of Smith this time. They didn't even have to be the team to pick it up, so Device back down to the rifle, of course, very little money on that side beyond the basics that you'd want to be working with. And now let's see what Smiths can bring. He's been a little bit quiet, I guess. You know, he picked up that triple earlier on. He's had a little bit of a quieter game than maybe I'd like, considering he was one of the top-tier players when they last faced off. Now let's see if the AWP makes a difference. Maybe this will switch up the play towards A. Maybe that'll make Astralis think as well, but it looks like we might have the smokes being put down towards mid early on. The double smokes there coming through. But then again, Shots will hear nothing at this point. No steps, no indication of a mid play, even though there's 3 players dedicated towards it. But now Cajun B is showing his hand. That means maybe G2's going to be still worried about mid, but there's no one on A at the moment, apart from Smiths holding back.
Wow, and Existence actually getting that frag through the smoke up from the vent as well. Smiths goes down. It's a nice shot from Sipnix. He had the perfect angle. Dupree, who has had a very quiet game. I think that's his 4th kill of this first 14 rounds, so it's about time that something happens on his front as well. 2 versus 5 or 3 here. It should be their round, and it is going to be RPK all alone in a 1-on-3. And this time the plan is out in the open as well. It's almost impossible for RPK to do this. He's got a Molotov, so if he could get the kill on, we can smoke off 1 and actually put the Molotov off in main. This would be a little bit interesting.
Kind of curious he put that there, but alright, let's see what you got. Okay. Going for it. Balls of steel from Astralis right now. 4 seconds, 3, and there's the fire. Dupree comes out. I'm surprised he didn't use that molly, maybe towards Squeaky or main or either two, but not the case. And still, 8-6 to the scoreline. But to be fair, I like that from Astralis. They saw how much presence there was in mid last round. They had 3 players there for G2. This time double smoked it, put just Cajun towards it, kept all those G2 players there, and just kind of exploit the fact that there was very few people hitting that A site apart from Smiths, who probably had the AWP they recovered. So a good read from Astralis, whether they knew it or not, but by this point G2 just still in a good position score-wise.
Look at Existence charging all the way up into main. They've run right past him in the smoke. He turns around, gets the 1 kill in, but he's not aware that Carrigan is also there. So the trade not quite working out in their favor, and Carrigan making his way around the corner, trying to pop flash his way out, and actually he'll be successful in that Scream. In a little bit of trouble, and he ends up going down to Cajun as a refrag, but Shocks. Nice tapping away, and now a lot of action already. So we end up in a 2-1-3.
Down to Zipnix and Device, the two who have a lot of potential to bring in this one. Zipnix with a nice angle towards Smiths takes him away from the side itself, but there's Device covering off. Shocks falls, and that's a great bit of play between the two to clear out the side, leaving just RPK alive. And last time didn't go so well. Going to flash out towards mid, maybe try and keep their eyes attention towards that side, but Zipnix already swings into mid and spots that he's coming from this direction. Surely this could never happen.
Now, again, this is a very, very difficult clutch for him to try and pull off. It's a great idea with the flashbang, throwing it the other way, but Sip just a little bit too clever with that one. Now PK, trying to see if he can make it work, going to get shot in the face. Zipnix picking up a double kill, and we will end it within an 8-7 scoreline, favoring G2, which I think normally you would think this is a great T-half. I mean, it is a great T-half for Astralis, but again, I need to see it before I believe it here.
So okay, let's address the issue. I know you've been hurt in the past, Anders.
Yeah,
you can see you're haunted by the ghosts of Astralis.
Yeah.
But let's kind of talk through what these issues are, because even Yanko brought it up. You know, this isn't an unknown point that their CT side does have some flaws to it. You know, and they've shown some real class on the T side. So what's the disparity there in your mind, at least, that causes these kind of problems coming through?
I think the thing is that on a lot of other maps, Astralis have players that are sort of specialist players. So, you know, if we're talking about Mirage, they have Carrigan in the middle. And just, like, generally speaking, they have players that are very good at playing certain positions. On this map, I can't really think of many where I would say, oh yeah, this guy is a fantastic, you know, B or A side player, and that, you know, at least they have that on lockdown. On this map, some of the players we see do really well on a map like this are people who play sort of the NPK corners on the A-bomb site, where it's really hard to find them. They almost always seem to get a trade and maybe then some. I just feel like Astralis, it's not like they're horrible on this map. I just don't think they have any one player who feels super confident in one particular position. RPK was doing a fairly good job, I think, on this first half playing checkered. And a team we're going to watch later today, although not on this map, but Virtus Pro, have Neo, who's very, very good at playing these positions. So you have like some players that are sort of specialists on various maps and various positions. I can't think of many that Astralis are really good with here. So I'm a bit concerned about that.
Yeah, it could be a fact coming through this one. If it does end up kind of coming to the forefront, they're just not quite as well-rounded, let's say. But there we go. So look at the G2. Smith's there with Molly in the smoke. We've got a smoke, flash, and nade for existence. And on the other side, pretty much all armor, barring Device, who's got that kit as well. But at the moment, it looks like a lot of attention early towards this B side of things. Smoke's going to come out, and that's a curious smoke to be put into play.
Oh, Carrigan being dropped there by Shocks, who's still got plenty of health, and now Glock, and he's just alone as well, which means they don't even have any information about how many people are there. A bit annoying. Looks like they might want to try and see if they could double up here. Cajun and Sip are both going to be peeking against Shocks, and they need to get this kill quick as well. Finally going to come through, and that's a smart play from Astralis. Yeah, and it isn't half-time if you guys are wondering at home. It is actually in-game, so hopefully we can get that taken down for you guys. And it is a 4v4 now, and it looks like G2 are trying to adjust themselves around and head over towards that B side. They do at least have a little bit to clear out. We've still got existence with that nade, but it's Smiths with the molly to find Device, and there we go. The site suddenly becomes theirs. Zipnix is quick on the cross, but by this point the bomb is going down, and there's no chance to stop that one. The nade even going to send him back a little further, but doesn't connect perfectly. Now, I have no idea why the G2 players are so eager to try and peek this. Why not just wait? You're in a 2-on-4. Cajun going to come through with one and gets a second one on Smiths, and now it's a 2-on-2, and Cajun moving closer as well. Scream, half health. Cajun just making so much noise, but he's trying to get this kill anyway. He can't finish it off, and Sip now all alone and sandwiched in. It's not a good position for him to be in. A flashbang to follow it up as well. And he's also running out of time very quickly. He looks for the shot, but he is just in an awful position. And Scream going to finish it off, but again, they were so eager to fight early on. There's no reason for them to do that. They really didn't need to make half of those peaks. Like, you don't need to allow Cajun the chance to be able to do that sort of stuff, and then you put it on a plate to him, and sure, he's going to land some ridiculous things, but are we seeing, surely not the weird CZ buy-up, please? No, okay, it's the weird CZ Deagle buy-up. So Zipnix, Dupree, going Deagling, Device,
staying away from that because, USPS. And the 2 CZs now, it works occasionally, but this time no armor to boot with it. They have very little money into this one. And you can see the amount of SMGs coming out for G2.
Scream, hoping for a shot in the middle, but not going to get it. That Molotov in the corner by Sandbags, was that? I'm not sure if that was a perfect one. Either way, Shox and Sip about to have a bit of a run in, and from the looks of it, Shox would come out a lot on top here. I don't think Sip is going to be taking that corner at all.
Flick isn't going to work, and Shox just holds down the trigger, and Zipnix falls. It's going to be down to this B play maybe coming through here, and Dupree actually does catch existence a little then, but Doming Scream, but it doesn't really matter by this point. The last two are left were a mile away, and Device sadly, as much as he may pray to hit one more bullet, then can't quite get it done, and RPK stays alive on that 4 HP. The bomb goes down, and G2 now 10-7, looking pretty well set here. And we're going to see the double eco as well, or to an extent coming out for Astralis. They're not much to do.
I do like this though. 3 HE grenades, a couple of flashbangs.
Yep.
Why not really? I'm wondering if it's going to. I mean, it is not likely that you'll get a lot of kills behind it, and they're all going to throw it on top of the boost, so we can kind of tell that not much happened. But still, I think it's a worthwhile investment. Sip to pick up a kill, and Existence in the middle taking a little bit of damage, but nothing significant. So it is going to be an easy round here for G2.
Yeah, it's Kerrigan's just, I think he knows his fate is pretty much sealed there. His Existence is going to get the last, and his G2 starting to get a little buff for themselves here on this scoreboard. But then again, we want to see this buy coming out. This is what we want to keep our eyes on. Device instantly going onto the AWP. This is a very, very different stance, I guess you could call it, to how he played on that T side, almost kind of negating the AWP's presence. Now, I wonder if Smiths goes for it. No, straight on towards the rifle. So we got the MAC-10 on RPK still. This is a very curious one, but then again, Dupree and Device both don't have head armor, so maybe they could try and work something out on that, but locating them and finding that out is a different ordeal. But then again, G2 are looking at B.
A bit annoying for Astralis, because they actually wanted to blow out the vents when they run in. They want to wallbang the vents out so that the Ts can't hear it, and apparently they missed a shot, so now they're kind of just waiting here instead. Oh, it's dangerous. Smiths can actually almost be spotted there. Gets them into the other angle, but now so many smoke grenades running in, and Device leaving Cajun behind, saying you're on your own, gonna miss that shot. And yeah, they should run. There's no reason to try and retake this. They don't have the money to buy if they fail it. That was just so quick from G2. I don't think Astralis were ready for it.
Yeah, it was like that scene in the Titanic, it's like don't let go, and just... ouch. Cajun B gets left behind, and Device does at least get away, but it was just so quick and relentless. I love that from G2. Literally, it was like, okay, well, even though there's players there, they just power through the smokes, the flashes, so on point. They took the fight with Cajun B. I think it was Scream who got it. It was just so heavy hitting. There was nothing they could do by that time.
It's one of those things where you have to imagine as well from Astralis point of view, it's so disappointing because you're thinking we'll blow up, we'll shoot out the vents, we'll boost one guy up there, and then the AWP will be left alone. And if anything comes through, then we have like some sort of crossfire. Because that fails and they hesitate, then they're trapped within the middle and that execute. It's just a really weird spot. That was just a weird round for Astralis. I think actually so much was based on that vent play that they couldn't make work.
Oh, it's a real shame. Real shame. So what if they can go back to it again, actually? See if they give it another try out.
Yeah, maybe try with something that's not a USP to try and shoot out the vents.
Do they try it from behind the...
Yeah, because if you do right here...
Oh, I remember seeing Chris J doing the first time ever.
Well, look how far away the Ts are when they do that. So the Ts can't hear the vent going out, so that might...
Did they fail it again?
It could have been that they did.
I'm pretty sure I just heard it break later on, but they're sticking to it this time. They're like, alright, screw it. We've made it this far, but this is, again, the same thing from G2. I want to see if they go for that blistering pace off the back. It's the same setup.
Well, counter grenades coming out here. Device, again, saying, Cajun, just you're on your own. I'm not even going to play this game. Playing at the edge of the smoke, missing the shot and going down. Cajun coming up from behind. They do line up for him. He almost gets that triple, in fact. And he will make it a double, and that's better than nothing. Now it's a 3-on-3. And this time Astralis probably feel like it's time to go for the retake here. And Dupree, if they spot out where Scream is in that corner by Checkered, they could wallbang him down instead of just killing him from the vents. Oh, he's actually on the other side. I thought he was maybe in the corner by Checkered, but now this is even worse for Astralis. Scream gonna go for the fight. Takes down Sipnix. Carry gonna fall as well. And Dupree gonna be going down. That's a quad kill for Scream. And a 13-7 scoreline here. G2 just powering through. Scream with 25 kills.
Absolutely lovely play towards B again. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they failed that CT smoke as well, which could have been deadly. You know, Device was just on the verge of it. You know, he was in a good spot, but if he'd just made it back a second further, he could have maybe played that cross. But still, you know, it seems that G2 have got this beautiful play coming down, and we haven't seen anything else out of the, you know, the book of tricks. And we all know Existence will certainly have a couple of tricks up his sleeve, but that is a really nice bit of play. So I'm hoping we get to see more of that sort of element from G2 here as they look like they're trying something different this time.
Yeah, what is it going to be? This time they're spread out so far in what's sort of a default here to just try and make sure that no one is going to push them anywhere and that they're not going to be tricked. Looks like they're going to try and Molotov out the vents early on. And Astralis haven't been trying to get people up there, so you can't really blame them for wanting to be a bit safe on that front. Device in a good position with that AWP in the middle. And Smith has his on the other side too. Grenades raining in. Still more than a minute left, and can they actually make it out here? Smoke is definitely not complete, but oh, it's a nice shot from Device to take down the top fragger.
There we go. So already a lot of kills going for Astralis this time. Smiths and Existence are the last two alive standing. So you're going to see the swing out. And to be fair, Astralis this time just said, no, I think it's almost like a team ace here. If who's the last one? Free needs to get the kill. Let Free get the kill just for my sake. Alright, Smith just punishes Carrigan at least, but 1 HP. This could be it. It could be the perfect team ace.
Yes.
And it is. I love that.
Get your
I
wish.
love that. I love it.
And they had the option for a double up setup, but they decided not to go for it. And I don't blame them because it's so hard to retake on this map. It's sort of possible on the A-bomb side, but imagine retaking B with 2 AWPs. It's no fun.
No. Not fun at all. But let's kind of review the scoreline here. You know, it's 13-8. We've got G2 starting to, you know, maybe not look comfortable, but they've got a really strong B default, not default, but a B play to fall back to. Their default looks a little bit weak, but I'm wondering if they're going to start depending on that in these rounds as it does get a little bit later into the day. But they can always fake that out and try and really cause an overcommitment towards B from Astralis. I'm hoping we see a little bit of mind games going through on that one, but RPK and Scream looking like they want to go and maybe try it out again. The molly comes in, so it's looking very similar to the play coming through, but it's not quite the same piece. It's close, but not quite the same. Now, Dupree's in a different spot this time. It's only Cajun B at the forefront, and Device, but Scream finds both of them right in the smokes, just on the verges of it, and they play it so well again. Device now smoked out. That site is theirs, and I've not seen a team look this proficient in taking that B site in a long time.
No, and there's some really weird stuff that's happening here as well. I think Dupree actually wanted to run all the way through the smoke. I don't think he was intending to just sort of stand around, because that would have been an asinine play. So instead, he got trapped sort of on the corner, and it works out quite heavily in against him. So they're getting some really good cleanup in here, but this is obviously a bit worrying. They just can't obviously defend B. They don't know what the setup is, and the problem is you can't put 3 people here. This is not an option. Like, putting 3 people on B would be some real madness. So I don't know what they need to do. You can go aggressive, but then you'd be pushing right into like 3 or 4 G2 members.
And that's the thing, right? So they've tried Device there with the AWP, which was just kind of by almost not bad luck, but he was there the first time, and he kept the AWP in play a couple of times after that, and that didn't really work for them. So they've tried the AWP there. You know, obviously he gets kind of put out, but I'd almost like to see someone trying to play the CT kind of position, because I thought it was a failed smoke. It isn't. It kind of lands kind of by headshot almost, but it does leave a gap by CT. Now, of course, they probably got a plan in mind, a play in mind as to how to kind of negate that there's a fact that there is a small piece missing, but maybe Astralis looking like they might have to play someone back in CT, maybe not as be present in towards those into checkers. But I like this from G2, and the thing is we haven't even seen like a straight A play. We haven't even seen a full buy up round with guns, with smokes, with everything in play towards A. It's been all kind of a couple of hits towards mid, maybe some defaults, just working off the picks, but these B hits have been absolutely flawless.
Yeah, and because of how much they use grenades to clear out checkered, or the parts of it they don't clear out, they simply smoke out. It's really hard for Astralis to set up like a proper defense right now. And they, even when they put up counter grenades, they will still play almost 2 versus 5 or 2 versus 4 in there. It's hard to get good enough counter grenades in that you could kill 4 people like that. Yeah. So they're just running into some really hard pressure right now. And they're running out of rounds. I mean, right now, G2 are 2 rounds away from winning here against Astralis. And again, think about the first half that they had. 7 rounds on the T side. That looks like you're about to be just in a great position.
You're good, yeah. I don't know, kind of not the norm on this 14-8 though. Astralis going to go back into this one, and we will be seeing the B test coming out again from G2. That's what I'm curious about. Is that going to be another play coming out? And how they're just switching up here. Dupree's going to take a different angle. He's going to be sitting up above. The same smoke comes in. He's going to commit down to this and spray into it. But already, G2 just hit the brakes, slow it down.
There's only one person in the middle. I thought for a moment they were going to try and sort of double stack middle and only leave one person in A. Simply play A almost as a retake. It's not impossible, which would mean that they would be much faster on the rotate to B right now. Looks like the bomb's still over behind the B bomber side, so they're just faking a bit of aggression, making a noise. And, yeah, the same exact execute. Smoke going up to Dupree. This time he's playing on a better side of it, and he doesn't have to run through. He gets a double kill in. It's a favorable trade finally for them.
Really impressive as well, mid-game to be able to adapt towards that sort of thing, read the smokes, understand the plays coming through. But now look at it. They've got 2 players over towards B. Now Xyp9x has to be the linchpin here. He has to stop them, be able to push out, but Scream spots out the gun, and suddenly the map becomes open. There's still 50 seconds available, and G2 have a chance here, but it's a 2v2. Device has to understand what's going on here. It's the race towards A. I think one player's going to get out on A if they went straight for it. They've gone towards Forklift, and it is Shox. Scream's taking the long route round with a bomb.
And that means he can walk right in and put it down. Yeah, I was going to say, don't at least put it on the corner. He's going to plant default. Try and make sure he doesn't get picked off. And Shox just crouching, hoping that someone's going to give him a big opening. Cajun coming up highway. They do have a kit on Cajun, so it's a bit critical if he ever goes down exactly where that is. Device trying to look for the opening. Shox there, revealing himself, and he gets dropped. But then comes Scream with 2 kills. Another quad kill here. Making it to match point here for G2. That's 31 kills in a lot less rounds. It's incredible.
Yeah, statistically overall for G2 on this map, Scream is one of the best players. Recently we've seen upturns from a couple of Shox coming in. Smith's having a couple of good games, but it's been Scream. This guy, a very flat map. The headshots seem to be a little easier to hit in case he needed help at any point. I don't think he does, but those B hits he's been hitting doubles every time, opening it up, clearing it out. Now Astralis just down to these CZs, and Scream looks confident. He wants to go walkabouts. Look at him. He's just straight out there in mid, peeking directly, knowing these guys are going to be struggling. Carrigan gets flashed and held. That is one of the only gun they really had out of the game.
Yeah, so like I was saying, we've seen it time and again. Even if Astralis had got 10 rounds on the first half here, they got 7, but if they got another 3, this still would not make this an impressive. We'd be looking at like an 11, 13, 12 type scoreline, still favoring G2. So I don't know what it takes for Astralis to win the CT side of Cash, but it's been so many games where something like this has happened, where they seem to have a good T side, and the CT side just does not work.
And it's going to possibly come down to another of these B hits. Dupree's going to be hating this after having such a tough time and such a rough road dealing with Existence and the boys pouring in. But he's going to find RPK at least. And I say Existence, and he's the one finding the double to just really open this side back up to it. And there's just Xyp9x left alive. Has the rifle, but what can he do with 40 seconds? 3 to find. Bomb going down.
Still no death threes.
Maybe it's the clutch, or maybe it's just been fixed. I don't know.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say it's definitely not going to be the clutch.
Oh, come on, I believe in it.
the Molotov as well. They're making absolutely sure this is not going to happen. At least he's not doing a Cajun and walking into the fire, but yeah, he's going to go down to Smiths, and that will be a really great performance from G2. Well played. They did get crushed on Inferno, but they come back with an even bigger win themselves on Cash. Very well done.
I could watch their B take on that T side every day of the week. That was absolutely wonderfully done, and it's something about it that just really highlights how good they are. And it kind of reminds you a little bit of the Envy play that Sean Garris was talking about on occasion, where they molly out all these very different corners, but you see a slightly different approach to it coming out from G2 there, smoking out everything, just challenging down the angles that they leave open. Dupree did eventually find a little bit of room there, just on the edge of the smoke, but by that point, they'd already been overrun 3 or 4 times by this.
Yeah, and you see how much they had to improvise to even make that work. And I mean, it's that was just not a fun time. I look forward to seeing the analysis of this because I don't know if this has been a problem for them for a very long time. Not just today, but like for going back for the past 4, 5, 6 months.
Yeah, it's been a consistent issue. So guys, I think we're pretty much done here, and let's hear what the analysis have to say.
Thank you very much, guys. And I do want to exactly take on where Anders just alluded to. It was an 8-7 first half. He said it right then. So I'm really worried about Astralis' CT side, and the B strategies from G2 were just amazing.
It was like the yin and the yang, Lee. Balance in the universe. Because G2, they go B. They like the voluptuous letters. They're Danes. They like the big, buxom B, basically. And then the Frenchies, for some reason, wanted to go towards the pointy letter. They really favored that A. There's some hard-hitting analysis for you guys. But
brilliant stuff.
There you go.
Okay, so let's talk about the guy that was at the top of the board. I know we don't always like to focus on top fraggers all the time, but 32 kills for Scream, he was kind of unplayable.
I've underlined his name 4 times on my notes. So there you go.
I mean, definitely he had an...
You love him, I know.
He had an amazing game. He got a lot of high-impact kills on the city side as well, where they were struggling at times. In those retakes, he was able to be the guy who, get the initial kills, which allow them to claw back into rounds. So, but, looking at the second half, which was probably the one more important thing, as how they were repeating the same strat over and over again. I mean, doing a strat like this with a lot of smokes and molotovs and flashes onto B is pretty powerful, because once you clear, a couple of parts of the site with a Molotov, the remaining places where the cities can be, and you see where Dupree stood when he got the double kill in the last time they did it. But you're pretty open there. You're easily flashed, and it doesn't matter at that point, because if he dies, his teammate is on the rotate because they were faking A. He's in a bad spot. They are just waiting for him, and Scream was on fire, as we pointed out, getting all the entry kills.
And think back to what you were saying about them on Inferno. It was the smokes and flashes that were not right. So is this just a case of they are so much more comfortable on cash? The executes?
To me, it just seemed like the executes. It's more like the execute.
Yeah,
let's be real.
It was
if they weren't playing default for picks and winning and just getting those picks, they were just oh guys, we found this one strat. It actually works. Let's do it again.
The worst thing is they would actually
just keep doing it.
They would actually miss the smoke for CT.
Yeah, they would too. So it wasn't even a perfect execute. It was just a lot of elements, but it's just like that one smoke. I think Pansy mentioned it at one point. Device camping there with an 8. Your whole thing is wrecked because he's just going to sit there and be like, and
then he missed his shot.
And it's
And
but I mean. Right.
The problem is people are, but how do you beat a strat like that? The thing is, you would never just put blindly 3 players B. You just can't do that. It's not really viable. So you can do a couple of things. You can try and go aggressive early with an Opper maybe going first to try and get the pick, and a couple of players behind him supporting him. So try and break that strat in the beginning, or if it's a default, then you can just get the kill on the one guy that's watching B. So try and do that. The other option would be, since they're spending a lot of resources getting entry into the site, that you could maybe, fall back and let them get control of the site and then play for the retake. But a B bomb site, it's really hard. It's really hard to retake it. So, I mean, that's why I said this strat in itself is pretty powerful. You are committed to it. So the problem is, if it doesn't work, if cities get the initial pick, it has to be perfect. Everyone has to throw everything basically for it to unleash its full potential. So you get an early pick, maybe you disrupt them, and you're able to break it down.
The last thing I want to talk about was Dupree, because yes, he had an absolute screamer today. No pun intended there, by the way. And he was actually on T side. He was a lot of the time the guy going up mid and through cat. And then as soon as he was losing out, the tactic was just falling apart. They weren't getting into A site.
Like one thing to note is that. It is a little bit map dependent with Dupree. Like Overpass, it's a bad example to use Overpass with him, because it's like there's a few examples of players like that. Smith's on D2 back in the day was always our go-to, right? Where it's just like he just feels comfortable on that map. Nitro on Cash, right? Same sort of thing, where it's just like, okay, well, this guy, he's just so good on this map. Whatever it is, he just feels it, right? On Cash, clearly it wasn't really working out. I mean, hell, on that B execute, we might have seen them, like Astralis, figure out a solution for it earlier if Dupree hadn't got caught on the wall in that smoke, that the before last B execute. He flashed it perfect, and I'm like, oh, this is it, right? He's gonna come through that smoke and just wreck them all, right? And then he gets caught on the wall. It's just like, So
we saw Moddy do the same thing yesterday.
No luck. Sometimes it's just also a lack of luck. Yeah, exactly. Just small things. If he's a second earlier behind his flash, maybe we see a totally different half, because then they shut down that B execute one round early. They have a little bit more room to play with, and we're not just seeing G2 crush them by rerunning the same strat over and over and over. Yep. So that's just something. We really do get a good example of like why Dupree is like one of the linchpins of this team. Like you really need Dupree.
Yeah, and when he's not firing, boom, they fall apart. So it's another 1-1 for Astralis. We'll see how they do when they play next time. It is going to be Virtus Pro versus FaZe coming up after the break.